Have you ever wondered why some people seem to age overnight after they turn 70, while others stay vibrant and sharp well into their 90s? Aging is not just about getting older, it's about how we age. And after 70, the process can either slow down gracefully or speed up dramatically. Doctors and researchers are raising red flags about 5 dangerous signs that, if ignored, can rapidly accelerate aging, taking a serious toll on your physical health, mental clarity, and even your independence. If you're over 60, these are not just normal signs of aging to brush off. These are warning signals, and they're far more common and destructive than most seniors realize. Below are 5 specific science-backed signs that doctors say predict accelerated aging after 70 and why each one is so dangerous if left unchecked. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Sudden loss of muscle strength, sarcopenia. There's a moment that sneaks up on many older adults. A simple gesture that used to be effortless suddenly becomes a struggle. Reaching for a pan in the kitchen, standing up from a favorite armchair, or picking up a grandchild feels heavier than it should. At first, you might laugh it off. I'm just tired today, you tell yourself. But over time, the truth becomes harder to ignore. Your body isn't as strong as it once was. And it's not just aging, it's a silent condition called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength, and for many people over 70, it becomes the thief in the night, masi, quietly robbing you of power, balance, and independence. Starting as early as your 60s, muscle loss can accelerate quickly without regular resistance training or proper nutrition. By the time it becomes noticeable, much of the damage may already be done. But sarcopenia isn't just about losing strength. It's about losing freedom. Muscles aren't just for lifting and walking. They're vital to everything from maintaining posture to preventing falls. And a fall after 70 can be catastrophic. Hip fractures, hospital stays, long recoveries, sometimes ones that people never truly bounce back from. According to the CDC, falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths among adults aged 65 and older in the United States. Behind many of those falls is a gradual, quiet decline in strength that went unaddressed for too long. This slow erosion of strength can also have a deeper emotional impact. It can make once independent seniors feel like burdens. It creates fear. Fear of walking across the room, of going out alone, of becoming a version of yourself you no longer recognize. You start to shrink your world. Fewer errands, fewer outings, fewer adventures. Not because you've lost interest in life, but because your body has lost its ability to support it. Doctors now consider muscle strength a key marker of longevity. In fact, grip strength alone, just the strength in your hands, has been linked to heart health, cognitive performance, and even survival rates. When muscle begins to waste, your whole system starts to suffer. Your metabolism slows, your bones weaken, and your immune response falters. It's like removing the framework from a house. It may still stand for a while, but it can no longer weather life's storms. The good news? Sarcopenia is not inevitable. Resistance training, even light weights or body weight exercises, can rebuild muscle and reverse much of the damage. Proper protein intake, vitamin D, and staying active every day can protect your strength. It's never too late to begin. And the earlier you notice the signs, the more you can do to preserve your independence and vitality. But physical strength isn't the only thing that begins to fade quietly with age. Sometimes the greatest danger comes not from the body, but from the slow withdrawal of the heart and mind from the world around you. What happens when connection disappears, when the phone stops ringing, and the days stretch out in silence? That's where we'll go next. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Increase social withdrawal and isolation. There's a quiet kind of aging that doesn't show up in lab results or on medical charts. It doesn't come with pain or swelling or visible symptoms. It begins subtly. A missed phone call here, a declined invitation there. Days that pass without a visitor, conversations that once brought joy, now avoided for no clear reason. You find yourself saying, "I just don't feel like going out today," more often. And at first, it feels like nothing. But over time, that quiet begins to echo louder until loneliness becomes your most familiar companion. Increased social withdrawal after 70 isn't just a harmless shift in routine, it's a red flag. Doctors are increasingly warning that isolation is one of the most powerful predictors of accelerated aging, and one of the least recognized by the people experiencing it. The science is startling. Long-term social isolation can be as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, cognitive decline, and even early death. More than that, it slowly eats away at the fabric of who we are, our sense of purpose, belonging, and emotional well-being. What makes this sign so dangerous is how invisible it can be, even to the person going through it. Many seniors tell themselves they're just slowing down, or that they don't want to bother anyone. But behind those words can be fear of no longer fitting in, fear of becoming a burden, or fear of facing the changes in themselves that they can no longer ignore. Left unchecked, this withdrawal can deepen into depression, anxiety, and a profound sense of disconnection from life. There's a cruel irony here. Just when we need community and connection the most, we often begin to push it away. But the truth is, human connection isn't optional. It's essential to survival. Just like oxygen and water, we are wired to need the presence of others. Studies show that seniors with rich social lives live longer, suffer fewer health complications, and are far less likely to experience cognitive decline. Conversation, laughter, shared meals, these are not luxuries. They are medicine. When we isolate, we not only miss out on joy, we miss out on life itself. We become shadows of ourselves, retreating from the world, and in doing so, we silently hasten the very aging we hope to delay. And yet, while social withdrawal creeps in quietly, the next threat to your well-being often strikes in the dead of night. It's not what happens during the day, but what doesn't happen while you sleep that may be silently speeding up your aging process. 3. Poor sleep quality or insomnia. There's something uniquely sacred about sleep in our later years. It's meant to be a time of renewal, when the body repairs, the mind resets, and the spirit finds peace. Yet for so many older adults, sleep becomes a nightly struggle, a battle with the clock, a quiet frustration that wears away at the soul. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling, shifting from side to side, watching the hours tick by. You finally drift off, only to awaken at 2 a.m., mind racing, body restless. Morning comes not as a fresh start, but as a continuation of exhaustion. This kind of poor sleep, frequent waking, difficulty falling asleep, or shallow, restless rest is far more than a nuisance. For people over 70, it is one of the most serious and dangerous accelerators of aging. Doctors are increasingly sounding the alarm. Insomnia is not just about feeling tired. It is a systemic problem that quietly affects nearly every function of the body. Sleep is the time when your immune system strengthens, when your brain flushes out toxins, when your heart slows and heals. Without it, your body begins to age at a cellular level, literally. Poor sleep quality has been linked to an increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, and even Alzheimer's disease. When sleep is consistently disrupted, levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, rise, creating inflammation throughout the body. Over time, this inflammation weakens your organs, damages brain function, and accelerates physical decline. Brain scans have shown that seniors with chronic insomnia have smaller hippocampi, the brain's memory center, and reduced cognitive performance. In short, poor sleep doesn't just make you feel older, it makes you become older, faster. But beyond the physical damage, there's a deep emotional weight to sleeplessness. It creates a quiet desperation. The long, lonely hours of the night can stir fears, regrets, and anxieties. You start the day weary, irritable, unfocused, and that fog follows you like a shadow. Eventually, you begin to withdraw, not out of choice, but out of sheer exhaustion. And so sleep becomes not a refuge, but a reminder of what your body is losing. What's especially heartbreaking is how often poor sleep in seniors goes untreated. Many older adults assume it's just part of getting old. I guess I just don't sleep like I used to, they say, and accept it. But the truth is, quality sleep is not a luxury of youth. It is a necessity for longevity at any age. There are treatments, solutions, and lifestyle changes that can restore deep, healing rest. But first, you have to recognize sleep as a vital sign, not just a routine. Because when sleep is lost, so much more goes with it: clarity, energy, joy, and strength. And in that loss, aging creeps in faster, more forcefully, and often without mercy. Yet, while the nights may feel long and restless, there's another signal that often shows up in the daylight, subtle but sinister. When your reflection in the mirror begins to shrink before your eyes and your clothes hang a little looser than they did just months ago. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Rapid weight loss without trying. At first, it may even feel like a good thing. Your clothes are looser, the number on the scale is lower, and friends might even say, "You look great." But for many older adults, rapid, unintentional weight loss is not a sign of good health. It's a silent alarm bell that something beneath the surface is going terribly wrong. When you're over 70, losing 5 or 10 pounds without trying can be deceptively dangerous. The body is no longer as resilient as it once was. Every pound lost may mean more than just fat. It could be muscle, hydration, bone density, or even a sign that vital organs are under stress. Doctors often call sudden weight loss in older adults a red flag, one that may signal hidden cancers, gastrointestinal disorders, thyroid issues, malabsorption of nutrients, or even the early stages of heart failure. But even in the absence of a diagnosable disease, unexplained weight loss can lead to a cascade of health problems. As the body sheds its protective reserves, the immune system weakens, energy levels plummet, muscles shrink, increasing the risk of falls and fractures, wounds heal more slowly, and most alarmingly, the brain begins to suffer. The loss of vital nutrients, especially those tied to brain health like B12, omega-3s, and iron, can accelerate cognitive decline, worsen mood, and lead to confusion and disorientation. There's also an emotional weight to this physical change, one that can be just as heavy. Many older adults experiencing this type of weight loss describe feeling like they're disappearing, both physically and emotionally. They lose their appetite, not just for food, but for life. The joy of a shared meal fades. The act of eating, once comforting and social, becomes something to avoid. It's not just the body that gets smaller, it's their presence in the world. Loved ones often overlook this sign or misunderstand it. They may praise the weight loss without realizing its origin. But unintentional weight loss is not a cosmetic change. It is a clinical symptom. It should never be ignored and never dismissed with the words, maybe I'm just not that hungry anymore. In truth, the loss of appetite, especially when paired with weakness, fatigue, or withdrawal, is often the body's quiet cry for help. And yet, perhaps the most alarming aspect of sudden weight loss in seniors is that it's often too subtle to catch until the damage is already unfolding. That's why paying attention to the early signs, looser belts, skipped meals, smaller portions, is not about vanity. It's about vigilance. Because when your body begins to let go of weight without your permission, it's rarely doing it without reason. Still, weight loss isn't the only sign that something deeper is happening. Sometimes the real danger isn't how your body looks, but how your mind starts to feel. And when memory slips, when thoughts scatter, when your own reflection starts to feel unfamiliar, that's when aging shows its sharpest edge. 5. Noticeable decline in mental sharpness, brain fog, confusion, forgetfulness. It often starts so quietly. A misplaced key, a forgotten appointment, a familiar word just out of reach. You pause, laugh it off, and say, I'm just getting older. But deep down, a small voice whispers, what if it's something more? That voice grows louder when forgetfulness becomes more frequent, when conversations blur, when you begin to feel lost in places you once knew like the back of your hand. This isn't just a senior moment. For many, it's the early shadow of something more serious, a decline in mental sharpness that may be signaling accelerated aging of the brain. The brain is our most sacred possession, the keeper of our memories, our identities, our personalities. And yet, after the age of 70, it becomes particularly vulnerable. With age, the brain naturally begins to shrink, blood flow slows, and critical neural connections weaken. But when this decline happens faster than expected, when it becomes noticeable to you or your loved ones, it should never be dismissed. Doctors now warn that early cognitive decline is one of the strongest indicators of age-related brain diseases such as Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. The most frightening part is that this decline often begins long before a formal diagnosis. It can manifest as difficulty following conversations, feeling overwhelmed in new environments, or losing your train of thought mid-sentence. You may find yourself rereading the same paragraph over and over, or struggling to recall the names of people you've known for years. It's frustrating, embarrassing, even terrifying. And the emotional toll is immense. You begin to doubt yourself. You pull back from social situations. You fear being seen as slipping. And that fear, that isolation, only accelerates the problem. But this is not just about memory. It's about the slow erosion of confidence and independence. It's the creeping realization that you may one day need help managing your finances, your medications, even your daily routines. It's the fear that you might forget your grandchild's face or your own story. For many seniors, the loss of mental clarity is more terrifying than any physical illness because it strikes at the very essence of who we are. Yet, the hopeful truth is this: the brain, like any other part of the body, can be nurtured and strengthened. Physical activity, mental stimulation, social engagement, and proper nutrition have all been shown to slow or even reverse early cognitive decline. But the key is awareness, noticing the signs and acting early. If you're forgetting more than usual, don't suffer in silence. Don't hide it. Talk to your doctor. Tell a loved one, because the earlier you address these changes, the more power you have to protect your mind. And as we reflect on these 5 warning signs, a deeper question begins to stir. What if the real secret to aging well isn't just about avoiding decline, but about rediscovering purpose, passion, and joy in the years we still have ahead? 6. What can you do if you notice these signs? There comes a moment in every life when we are forced to pause, not because we want to, but because our bodies or our minds begin to whisper that something is changing. Perhaps it's the stiffness in your step, the forgetfulness that lingers, or the loneliness that wraps itself around your day. Maybe it's something more subtle, a weariness you can't explain, or a quiet voice in the back of your mind asking, "Is this how it begins?" If you've recognized even one of the signs, the fading strength, the restless nights, the growing silence, the unplanned weight loss, or the slow blur of memory, let me say this clearly. You are not powerless. These signs are not life sentences. They are invitations, urgent, yes, but also full of potential. Your body is speaking. And now it is time to listen. What matters most is not that these signs have appeared, but what you choose to do next. You see, aging isn't something that happens to us. It's something we participate in every single day. The way we move, the thoughts we entertain, the foods we eat, the people we let into our lives, they all shape how we grow older. And even after 70, even after warning signs appear, there is room, so much room, for change. Start by telling someone. Share your concerns with a doctor, a trusted family member, a friend who truly listens. Too many seniors suffer in silence, thinking these signs are just part of getting old. But silence is what allows decline to deepen. Speak up, not from fear, but from strength. You have every right to advocate for your health, to ask questions, to seek help. And then, take action. Not all at once, and not perfectly, but begin. Take a walk around the block each morning. Join a class at your local community center. Call someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Lift a light weight. Read something new. Challenge your mind. Feed your spirit. None of these are cures, but they are the seeds of strength, and strength grows where it is tended. And perhaps most importantly, believe, truly believe, that you are still the author of this chapter of your life. You are not too old to grow stronger. You are not too late to protect your mind. You are not beyond the reach of vitality, joy, or purpose. The signs may be serious, they may be frightening, but they are also a gift because they give you a chance to respond, to fight back, to reclaim the years ahead. Aging doesn't end your story. It gives you a new reason to live it with intention, courage, and grace. So, if you've seen the signs, take heart. You've already taken the first and most powerful step you've noticed. Now imagine what could happen if you chose to act. The power of awareness. Choosing to age with strength and purpose. Aging is not something to fear, but accelerated aging is. There's a difference between growing older with grace and wisdom and quietly slipping into decline without noticing the warning signs. The truth is, the years after 70 are not meant to be years of fading. They can be some of the richest, most meaningful times in your life, but only if you pay attention. Your body and mind are speaking to you gently at first and then more urgently when you start to feel weaker, more withdrawn, more forgetful, when sleep no longer restores you or the scale drops without explanation. These are not small things. They are whispers from within, asking for care, for change, for action. There is no shame in aging. In fact, there is great dignity in meeting it with open eyes and a steady heart. You've lived through decades of storms, triumphs, losses, and love. You carry wisdom that cannot be taught in books. But even the wisest among us must listen when the body sends a message. Because aging well isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about protecting your vitality, your presence, your ability to live each day with purpose. The most dangerous thing you can do now is nothing. Denial is not protection, it's risk. But awareness, that's power. And the truth is, you still have so much left to give, to experience, to enjoy. So listen closely, act bravely, and never stop choosing life. One strong, thoughtful step at a time. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with senior health tips. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.